episode 131.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the next level? Then hold on, because Ron and Ali are going to take you into the fast lane with the latest tips and insights from some of the biggest and most successful sellers here on the So You Wanna Sell on eBay podcast.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us today Theresa Cox. Theresa, how you doing today?
Hey, everyone. I'm doing good. How is everybody else? How are you guys?
I'm doing good here in St. Louis. What's it like in, oh my gosh, it's got to be like 63 degrees in Thailand. You must be freezing, Ali.
No, yeah, I've got my Eskimo suit. No, it's marvelous out here. Thanks for joining us, Theresa.
You're very welcome.
Brilliant.
Very cool. Very cool. So Theresa was an exclusive guest panelist speaking with eBay's Bob Kupbens on the main stage at eBay Open in July of 2017. Theresa has over 20 years experience selling on eBay and helping others.
Wow. So you're on the panel, were you? You were up front where everyone's watching you. The pressure is on.
Yeah, it was funny because I was like, oh, hey, I want to be on a panel, and help talk to other sellers and, do whatever. And I mean, I just kind of thought that. And the next thing I know, I get an email invitation, this exclusive thing. And yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Law of attraction.
Yeah, they probably told you there's only going to be 20 people there. It's no big deal, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Only a small event. Yeah. Brilliant. So. Yeah. Talk about it. So how do you get up on that stage then? Do you have to be around for years and years, or why they choose you?
No, I don't know how they chose me. I've been promoting the promoted listing product that they've had, and only just because I was a user and I love the product. And last year in November of 16, eBay came to my house and they shot a video for the promoted listing campaign, and I use it and I love it, and I think that's how I got on their radar.
Just so people, because this is quite new and a lot of people aren't actually using this tool. I work for clients that are. So just explain, what is this promoted listing? What's it all about?
So promoted listing is just a way to market your listings through eBay, and which is, everybody has marketing and we have different other ways to market it. But what I like about promoted listings is that you only pay for it if the item sells because it was promoted. So there's no risk.
Yeah.
So, as it rolled out, it was only available for multi-quantity listings, and now it's available for even single quantity listings. So I have 3,700 listings in my store, and every single one of them is on a promoted listing campaign.
Let me see if I have this right. If I want to sell something on eBay, right, and I really want to sell that thing, why wouldn't I do promoted listings?
Exactly. I don't know.
Because, obviously there's no risk involved. You don't pay for the promoted listing until you sell it, and you want to sell it anyhow, right?
Exactly. And what I like, too, is that you can determine what your ad rate is. And so if you want to do 3% or you want to do 20%, you can do that. I have almost all mine at 3%, and they sell.
Yeah.
And so, I like it. Because of that. It's easy to do, easy to set up. It literally takes 2 minutes to get it set up.
So you're coming in with every product. So let's say you got a product that's just doing really well on eBay already. It's sort of ranked. It's up there in the first few products on eBay for that particular keyword. Is that something you would also do promoted listings on, or would you just do it on the products that just can't get up to the top?
Well, because you only pay for it if it sells because it was promoted. So someone has to click on the promoted listing link and then buy it. I do them all, even my good sellers, because there's a chance that you could be looking. One thing that I like about the product is that if I'm selling a red garden hose and you're looking for a hubcap, you're not going to see my promoted listing because they have this algorithm that makes it relevant to what you're looking for. So if it's only going to show when it's relevant to what you're searching for, then absolutely I'm gonna want to be promoted because I want you to see mine over somebody else's.
Definitely. It's a no-brainer, really. And we're looking at your eBay store here, Club Red 97. Wow, it's very red.
Let's get the 800-pound elephant in the room out of the way here.
Yes.
What is your favorite color?
Yes. Yes.
Do you want me to tell you what I told Bob on stage? He asked me the same question. I told him green, but yes, it is red. It's been red all my life.
Why red? I mean, you just shown us your red microphone. What's with the red?
I didn't need a microphone until I found out they came in red. Then I had to have one. And it's so funny, when iPods first came out, I didn't need one at first until like the second generation they had red ones, and then all of a sudden I had to have an iPod.
Wow, boy, that's marketing for you.
Yes.
You know what? I tell people I don't get it, but if red things just make me happy. And if I have to go to the store and I have to buy a tape dispenser, if I see that it comes in red, all of a sudden I'm so happy to buy a tape dispenser.
Even if you didn't need a tape dispenser,
Even
but
if
it's
I
in
didn't
red.
need a tape dispenser, right? So,
Yeah.
So this is cool.
To any company out there that's selling products, if you sell one in red, here's a sure sale right
Yep,
here.
You got
definitely.
it.
Doesn't matter what it is. And you can tell by just going to the eBay store that you sell everything in red. It's brilliant.
I have a lot of red I started out just selling red things, and I have a lot of red kitchen stuff because up until I had a house I sold 2 years ago, and I had a red kitchen, and that's, I started looking at eBay, and I would just type in red kitchen and see what popped up, and pretty soon my kitchen was furnished with red things from eBay.
It's amazing. So where are you getting your stuff then? Are you a thrifter, or are you out? Because you got really a massive amount of different products.
I am not a thrifter. So I mostly do retail stuff.
Okay.
And I have thrifted. I gave it a shot when I unexpectedly lost my job in June of 2012, and I had just gone to eBay radio I had just gone to my first eBay event in May of 2012, and then eBay radio was the end of that June, and at the time it was Thrifting with the Boys, Jason Smith, and I had been selling on eBay at that time for 15 years, and they were the first people that ever stood up in front of a group of sellers and said, this is what you do. You buy this shirt for $2 and you sell it for $40. You buy this tie for $2 and you sell it for $25. And so I started, I thrifted for a while because I needed merchandise to sell. And it kept me going. But I don't have the thrill of the hunt that everybody else does.
And what's really cool about that is, and we talk about this a lot on the show, is that the one thing neat about eBay is, first of all, not everybody's selling the exact same thing, and there's so many different variations of how you get the product. I mean, we hear people, all the time talking about going thrifting, and then you retail arbitrage. There's online arbitrage. You can do things like that. We had a guy, Greg Wilson, last week. Man, he buys truckloads of stuff, and he's got a contract with these people that he buys truckloads. I mean, so whatever works for you. But the cool thing about it is, and I heard that you unexpectedly lost your job. That's income you probably needed to recoup pretty quickly, right? So was that the start of your full-time eBay, or did you get a job again, or how did that work?
It was going to be the start of my full-time eBay, and I was happy, and I was like, this is great. I can just jump into selling eBay full time. And, I'd been a hobby seller for 15 years, and that was my play money. I was making $800 to $1,000 a month, and that was just play. And I thought that was great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I thought I was living the dream.
Yeah.
and then I started really going full force into it. And then February hit. And February hit, and sales were really slow. And I was like, ooh, I don't have a cushion like I want.
Right.
So I started looking for a job, and I took a job in April working for the state, and it was 110 days of pure torture. And so I left that one. So my background is I spent 30 years in higher ed doing finance and operations. And so the last job I had was at Arizona State University. And so I went back to another department there and worked there in that job and I'm still doing eBay. This time now I know I need to really build it up.
Yep.
And so I was at that job for probably about 18 months and got fired. And so
that happens.
I know. And it's like, it's okay. I didn't get along with my boss at that time. So anyway, so then I was like, it's a long story, but we had this investment property 3 hours north in Williams, Arizona. and which is just outside of Flagstaff. And it wasn't finished. It was only completed to the drywall. And my mom and I had been trying to sell it for about 5 years. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put the money into it. And I went to go get a loan out of my 401k and found out, oh, you have to be an active employee to do that. So I went, oh, great. So then I said, okay, let me get a job. I can do anything for 6 months. And I did. I went and got another job at ASU just so I could get my money out of my 401k. We finished the house. I sold my home here. I moved up north and lived there, left my job. And let me put that in order. Left my job at ASU, sold my house, moved up north, and then sold that house, which was all part of the plan. And so
nice.
now I'm back down in the valley. So yeah, that was a long about rate for what I did and why I did it. So
and then you started selling on eBay. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Isn't that great?
So when I left that last time, I said I'm never going back because I knew what needed to be done. I knew how much money I needed to make, and I needed to reduce my expenses, which I did. I was living in this huge house by myself that was costing me a lot of money, and it was ridiculous. So got rid of 2 houses, and I just recently, in October of last year, 2017, I purchased another home, qualified with just my eBay income.
Nice, beautiful.
So I tell people that because it kind of shows you that you can make a real living doing this full time. And I've only been doing it full time for about 2.5 years now.
Wow, man, that is inspiring, Theresa. And see, when you say that, I don't hear that as bragging. I hear that as inspirational. I mean, so that's just impressive, the power of selling on eBay. Some people, like you said, you started out doing this as hobby income, and now look at you, you're doing this full time. And not only that, banks are looking at you with favor.
Yeah. It's amazing. It was an easy loan to get, and banks do take online sellers seriously. And I didn't have to provide, my concern actually, to be honest with you, when I started, it was that I hadn't been doing this full time for a complete 2 years yet. And that didn't seem to be an issue.
It's just amazing. 2 years.
Were there any loops that you had to jump through, because you're self-employed?
No.
And wow, that's cool.
Okay, so let's talk about that part. So
let me just tell you, I contribute that to a great CPA.
Ron and Ali will be right back after this short break.
Life is full of numbers. Our brains process literally hundreds of numbers and equations every hour of every day. When it comes to your business, give your brain a break as well as peace of mind that the numbers are figuring up as they should with MyCost Pro. MyCost Pro is an easy-to-use automated eBay bookkeeping program for Excel that imports sales data directly from your seller account. MyCost Pro automatically generates accounting and performance reports to show you your true bottom-line profit. You can even view and edit active listing details such as price and quantity, and relist unsold items directly from MyCost Pro. All you need is Excel on your Windows PC. Take control of your business and free up those long nights of crunching the numbers. Visit mycostpro.com for a 21-day no-obligation free trial using coupon code PODCAST, exclusively for So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast listeners. So, you have an idea, a big idea, and you're ready to jump into the world of e-commerce. Awesome. But where to start? The answer is only a click away. At solutionsforecommerce.com, you'll find available services to help manage, audit, or even build your e-commerce site from the ground up. With over 10 years of experience in developing and managing channels on sites like Amazon, eBay, Shopify, and Etsy, Solutions for E-commerce can help you to grow your small or large business. Take a step back from the technical and do what you do best, and let Solutions for E-commerce handle the tedious stuff like creating, reviewing, adding, or removing listings, setting up or organizing store categories, even merchandising and customer support. Find out why their clients say that their business wouldn't be what it is today without the help from Solutions for E-commerce. Visit solutionsforecommerce.com and take your e-commerce business to the next level. That's solutions, the number 4, ecommerce.com. Use promo code eBay at checkout for an exclusive So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast discount.
Be sure to check out So You Want to Sell on eBay.com for the latest podcasts and all the information you need to get selling fast.
So how did you grow? So you got these new people who are listening to the show. They're maybe starting out their eBay and stuff, or, they're really having a problem with it. How did you grow in 2 years so quick? I mean, is there lots of researchers? Are you joining groups? I mean, what's your way of not doing this, or, doing it a little bit, to getting it so fast?
I don't think it's growing so quick. It's just, putting the amount of effort and work into it and, dedicating the time that it takes to build it up. I think that having, built the business 15 years before I attempted my first time to go full time, and then, 3 more times after that really helped. And, I just knew what I needed to do. And
you're doing this all on your own, are you?
I am. I have some helpers that I call minions. I love it. When I was in Williams, there was a family that lived about a mile down the road, and they had a 4-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 13-year-old that would come down and help me take inventory, process orders, take pictures, whatever it needed to be. They ended up being that family that bought the house.
Oh, look at that.
And so that
brilliant.
was even better. I helped them and their parents get started on eBay and do some selling on Amazon. And because of that, so when I was in Williams, there was a 2,800 square foot Quonset hut, which nobody knows what a Quonset hut is, but it's one of those half round metal buildings that were popular after World War II.
Oh, yeah, the domes.
The domes, exactly. So there was one of those on the property, and all my eBay listed inventory was housed in a room in the back of that. It was about 40 feet by 15 feet. And so here's the kicker. When I moved, I made a deal with the new owners that I could leave my eBay inventory there. And now my shipping, it rests in the hands of a 14-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So every evening, I shoot her an email that says what she needs to pull. She goes and pulls it, weighs it, and sends me the information, and I shoot her off the labels, and she prints them and ships them.
Nice.
And I didn't know how to compensate her for that at first, and so I posted in a Facebook group like, "Hey, this is what I want to do. What would you do?" And somebody suggested 5% of sales because they didn't want it to be this time-consuming thing to track.
Yep.
And so I was so I said, "Okay, let me test it out." And I tested it out. I'm like, "Okay, well, that took me about 20 minutes, and I forget it was, and I'm like, okay, that works out to be about $36 an hour. At 13-year-olds, that's pretty good pay."
Wow, that's awesome pay.
And so when I actually went to move, I was thinking, I'm not paying anything for storage. So I just decided, I said, "Hey, how about if I give you 10% of everything we sell, and that'll pay for your effort and for storage?" And so,
it's loaded.
She is loaded. She's a 13-year-old kid, and she's amazing. I mean,
that's amazing.
And I have to give shout out to her mom and her younger sister because they do back her up if she's in sports and 4-H and travel teams and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, what's really cool about that, Theresa, is that, we always talk about the entrepreneurial spirit here. And you have given a 14-year-old girl a reason not to go to work for somebody else. I mean, because she's learning, how to be an entrepreneur on her own. I mean, she's got, technically speaking, she has her own business. I mean, she's kind of a contractor for you. So, it just gives her all kinds of reasons not to want to go work for somebody else, Yeah, in a corporate type situation, I guess I should say.
And she won't. Her father owns his own landscaping business. Her mom does taxes and other things. But it's funny. In the very beginning stages, I immediately saw the light that Sydney had, and I said to her mom, "I've got big plans for Sydney." And her mom looked at me and said, "Everybody does." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm not the first one to see this in this kid."
Get in the queue.
This kid.
Yeah, jeez. So let's talk about that. So you have so many products, and this is just a common question we get asked. That's why we always ask it. Is how do you find your products? How do you know where your products are inside of that bunker, in that dome, or wherever you're keeping your stuff?
We have it labeled by shelves. Shelf A 1 through 5, shelf B actually 1 through 6, and all the way around. And we've done a physical inventory. And, things still come up missing.
Yep.
And then you're glad that you have a determined 14-year-old that will hunt through every box until she can find it.
Nice.
So, but I actually, I'm listing stuff now in the new house, and so now I have inventory in 2 places. And I've come up with a system that I actually like better. And what I have is I've got wire shelves on wheels.
Yep.
And they're 48 inches by 18 inches deep. And they fit 3 boxes that are 18 by 14 by 12 inches across.
Oh, wow.
And so I have every box labeled 1 through 100. And I have listed and unlisted inventory on these shelves. And so what happens is I pull box 33, take pictures and list it. And then in my SKU, I just say box 33. Wow. And then I put it back on the shelf.
That's organized.
And so, well, I'm not keeping all my Halloween stuff together or all my Christmas stuff together, because when I need to integrate new inventory, I can't do that easily with that system, because I don't know, does it go on shelf A1 or does it go on shelf Z3? I mean, so I'm really liking this new system better, because it doesn't matter what's in the box.
And again, you know what's really cool? Everybody's system is completely different from the next person we talk to. But you know what? Everybody explains it like you did. Like, you know, I mean, you just explained it so simple that if you needed to find, you know, this red pocket knife, because God only knows if you have a pocket knife, it's red, you know.
You got it.
If you needed to find it, your system allows you to find it, and it makes complete sense for you. So that's
it
really
does.
Cool.
I mean, I'd still be looking for the size of the boxes. You know, what size was that? 27 centimeters by 16. But no, exactly. And that's the great, like Ron says, it works for our brains, and that's all that matters. It doesn't have to work for someone else; it just has to work for our mindset. So that's brilliant. So I also noticed that you're using this 15% off. You're using that tool as well, yeah?
Oh yeah, so I run a sale every now and then. Well, actually, I started running sales more often. So because what I found is that when you run a sale, a store-wide sale at 15% off in conjunction with promoted listings, that really boosts my sales.
Oh wow!
And so I didn't have any sales going on the first week of January. Well, around Christmas time, my shipping minion, decided that she needed to go to Grandma's house for Christmas, so I had to close my store down on vacation.
How selfish.
I know. And so I wanted to boost my sales after the first of the year. And, I've tried 40% sales. I've tried 30%. 15% seems to be the sweet spot for my store.
That's really cool.
The 15% disc sale with the promoted listings just really gets the sales going.
Well, cool. And I want to talk about one item in your store right now, and this
found one.
Probably pretty near and dear to you. It's called Size Me Up, right? And we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, and this is something that you created. Maybe you could tell our listeners about it and how they can find it.
Am I on camera? I can't see my picture.
Nah,
you're not on camera right now. That's all right.
Okay, so Size Me Up is a tool that I designed and created, and it started off with, and I've got my little prototype here, but you can't see because the camera's not working. I created one with coffee stir sticks and dental floss, and I've used that for years.
Nice.
And
it's a weird one.
Basically, what it is in order to ship a package international first class letter, it cannot be thicker than 3/4 of an inch. And then there's some size requirements, minimum and maximum size on it. Mm-hmm. So I created this Size Me Up tool that allows you to take your item and put it through the slot to see if it passes through, then it's less than 3/4 of an inch, which then you can ship it international first class letter versus international first class package.
Wow. That's impressive.
Which is much cheaper to do.
That's some serious thinking.
And we'll put the link to that on.
Where is it? What category? Really cool. What category on your store is that? Do you know at all, or just off the top of your head?
It's probably. If you just do search eBay for Size Me Up, I'm the only one on there.
There you go. So go to eBay, go to Size Me Up, and you'll see that. That's great thinking. So here's something I want. Oh, I've got to get the postage involved as well. I mean, that's just so much pre-thinking. It's brilliant.
I thought that it was going to be DOA effective the 21st of January when the postal rates go up, because the USPS will not allow for shipping merchandise via international first class letter. And then somebody sent me an article from stamps.com where they said that they were partnering up with somebody, and they would be able to accommodate merchandise via international first class letter. So I reached out to Eric Nash, who is over at stamps.com, and he explained it to me that USPS belongs to the Universal Postal Union, and they have never allowed large envelope flats to contain merchandise, but USPS has been breaking the rules forever. And so they finally put the hammer down on them and told them that they can't do that effective the 21st. So stamps.com is packaging up stuff and sending it all over the world via a different way. I guess there's like a third-party processor or something like that. So I'm happy to say that we can still sell stuff or ship stuff cheaper than international first-class package.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
So we're running out of time here, and the question I always like to add to the end, it's just for my benefit, is where are you going to be in the future? What's your plans? Are we looking at, like big shops worldwide? What are we looking at here?
I want to be able to travel around and source and stay. I'd like to be able to go to Tybee Island and spend 2 or 3 months there and source and sell, and then, go to Colorado and maybe go to Washington State and just be all over.
eBay's been good to you. That's awesome.
No one does like a moving van eBay, where they drive around the country in their eBay van, having all their products, selling
I know.
it. That's the start. We could start something like that.
Well, if I want to move around the country, I certainly have to reduce my inventory or start selling postage stamps or something.
Or have a 14-year-old sell it from the dome while you're traveling the country.
That's it.
There you go. And she would do it too.
in your house that we call mobile home. That's it. Definitely.
That works.
Well, this is brilliant. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I mean, I love the way that you talked about promoted listings. We don't hear about that much on this show. It's such a powerful tool as well. And like you say, you've really got nothing to lose. You could even at some point incorporate it in the price, knowing that you would be doing something like that. So, Theresa, it's fantastic. You've been awesome, and you've got so much experience here. And again, and this is why Ron and I do the show, so much inspiration on how you do it, how it's growing fast, how you can actually create another home from it. It's not the old buy your mother's and your granny's knitting no more. This is people making serious money. So thanks for joining us,
Absolutely.
Theresa. It's been really, really good fun.
Thank you. I've had fun.
We will post all the notes from today's interview in our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/show notes. Theresa, before you leave us, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, and I have a business site group that I am starting up called BOSS, because I love a good acronym, Business for Online Selling Success.
Nice.
And
is it red?
I also. It's not red, but we talk about the taboo subject there, which is taxes. I want to teach sellers what their margins are and what an ROI is and all that sort of stuff. And I've learned over the years that eBay sellers love to thrift and sell, but many of them do not understand the business side of things. So I want to take my 30 years of higher ed and finance and operations and kind of help people out that way. So that's one group. I also have a blog that I do, Selling My Life on eBay.com, because I'm, selling all my personal possessions and downsizing from a huge house.
Yep. And,
that's going to help me get to that goal of traveling around the country and just, selling out of my vehicle. So, and then, eBay, my eBay store is Club Red 97. So you can find me there.
Hey, that's awesome. You got some exciting stuff happening.
I do. It's fun. It's fun to be me right now.
It's fun to be all of us. Exactly it. And that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be despair.
I agree.
So, thanks once again. We'll put all those links on the show notes page. You can also find the products that Theresa is selling as well. Thanks once again from everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
That's all for this episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. Be sure to check out our next episode or any past episodes by going online to soyouwantasellonebay.com. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite social media sites, facebook.com/So You Want to Sell on eBay, and Twitter @Your eBay Podcast. Thanks for listening. And until next time, happy selling.
Have an idea for a topic or know someone who would like to be on the show? Let us know. Just go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/interview. We look forward to hearing from you. This podcast was produced in part by Pro Voice Works.